Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we'll be doing a review of daily driving the Kia Stinger GT2. Starting on the outside, we're not going to go over all the specs other than this is the GT, so it's got the 3.3 liter twin turbo, 365 horsepower, but the outside spec of it, I was looking for an all-wheel drive sports sedan. It was between this, Alpha, TI, and then I looked at a couple Jaguars. But, the hatchback on this really offers a lot of storage room. A lot of people, when they first came out, didn't quite realize that they were hatches. So you can take the little storage cover off, which I did for the winter time, only because, sometimes you got to put some bigger pieces in the back, but this does just unhook from the little tabs up here, and then this just pulls right out. So I did that for the winter time, just allowing more for storage space back there. As far as talking about the daily drivabilities, the seats do fold down with a 60-30 split. Therefore allowing a lot more storage. I forget which channel it was, but they had showed that they could put two bikes in here with the front wheels taken off. So part of the reason I went with it, it was nice enough to be a daily driver. The car had 11,000 miles on it when I bought it. It is approached 17,000. There we go, 17,211. So it's been 2 oil changes, which I've had done at the dealers. And the dealer charges right around $100 per oil change, which I don't think is too terrible, considering that it only happens every 5 months or so because of the lack of driving. The legroom in the back is adequate. I wouldn't say that it's excellent, all things considered. I'm going to go ahead and get in here. So the seat is all the way back at this point. So if you have an extremely tall driver that likes the seat reclined, keep in mind that the seat is now past the B-pillar. This is the B-pillar here, so the seat is farther back than the B-pillar. I do still fit, relatively uncomfortable, but you do fit. Nice thing in the back is you do have your own climate control, and then obviously you've got your knobs as well. All right, so let's talk about the actual review and my thoughts of the GT2 after 5,000, 6,000 miles later and going through all seasons in Michigan. Now, the 2019 to 2020 winter in Michigan wasn't that terrible. We had some snow, but it wasn't to the extent that it typically is. However, with just all-season tires, the all-wheel drive in the Kia Stinger worked sublime. It was perfect, and there was no issues. I never got even remotely stuck. The other reason I wanted the GT2 was right here, the heated and cooled seats. I didn't care so much if there was a sunroof. That was a take it or leave it deal, but because of the climate changes, I wanted the heated and cooled seats, and these work outstanding. So as far as daily driving this thing, what I've noticed is that, on bad weather days, I do tend to just drive it nice and, make sure I get from point A to point B. However, with the GT or higher trim levels, you've got that twin turbo with 365 horse. And again, with the all-wheel drive, this thing is just outstanding. I mean, it's amazing to drive. It's super fun to drive. And it's just great. So the drivability of this in Michigan for a daily is outstanding, and I cannot praise it enough. Let's go ahead and talk about reviewing the materials that they've used in the vehicle and the layout of the vehicle itself. So the materials, you will hear complaints about this portion of the car continuing to stay dirty, and that does happen. Quite a bit of water gets built up in this little trim line here. But that's minor. The paint is soft. Kia does use a soft paint. The setup of the steering wheel is very well done. The paddle shifters are in a nice place if you do desire to use those. The heads-up display is great. It would have been kind of nice if they could have figured out a way to have this recess down in the dash. I think that would have made for a nice clean look, you know, if or when you park it, or if you want it, you know, recessed down, but that does not happen. This car also was not spec'd with a remote start. I do know that there is a factory option that I could put for $800, or I could try it myself by disassembling some stuff down there. We've talked about the storage room, and that is more than adequate with the hatchback setup. The leather, the Napa leather in the GT2 is just outstanding. The headrests are super comfortable, and I have no complaints about those. The one thing that did happen up until we got it treated was that you would find a lot of staining here between dirt and blue jeans. The control knobs and dials all feel really well built. It doesn't feel like they're going to fall apart, and it just all works. All in all, guys, if you're just looking for the power output and you don't have any preferences between the heated and cooled seat and sunroof, you can find these vehicles for relatively inexpensive for just the GT trim. That will get you that horsepower that you'd be looking for, and you can find it relatively inexpensive with the all-wheel drive setup. The car would be a blast and super fun to take out in a parking lot with rear-wheel drive. And I do know in the newer models they've got, I believe it's called the D all-wheel drive, the dynamic all-wheel drive, and that basically turns this car into a drift car, which would be super fun, but also not needed for a daily driver. And also, what would have been nice, but they don't have in this 2018 model, is the wireless charger that's built in right here. They do have a charging port there, and they obviously got the 12 volt there, but those are the only two downsides, is that it doesn't have the dynamic all-wheel drive, and then there's no wireless inductive charging there. Other than that, the storage in the car is phenomenal. The drivability of the car is phenomenal. The looks of the car are great, and I have no complaints. I am still super enthused that this is my daily driver. Anyway, guys, if you found the video helpful, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more reviews later on. And hope during this time all of you are staying safe. Thanks. Bye-bye.